Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Laurent Boukobza and today I'm going to play and present for you the second movement of this Sonata Opus 110 number 31 by Beethoven. After this beautiful first movement, if you haven't watched it, click on the link above because it ended in a very peculiar way. It ended up that way. So it's a suspension. It doesn't sound like an ending because it goes to the next movement. That second movement is an allegro molto, but in fact it's a scherzo. The form of a scherzo, you can click above and see what it is, but Beethoven doesn't care anymore about what form it should be. First of all, this is a 2/4. Scherzo should be a 3/4. A scherzo also should have two parts on the first section that would be repeated. And then the second will have two parts that are repeated. We're not going to have close to any of this. And Beethoven adds a lot of humor in it. Because Beethoven is a humorous composer, as I mentioned many times. You can check on the Beethoven playlist that I made where all the humor is mentioned. Because that theme is actually a song that says Unser Katz hat Katzen gehabt, which means our cat has had kittens. And that's the song. Unser Katz hat Katzen gehabt. So that's the first humor we start with. In a more analytical way now, if you notice, the distance in the theme is a 6. Or if you remember correctly, when I talked about the first movement, it starts also with a 6 between the A and the F. So that's the relationship. And as I mentioned, the F was very important in the first movement, and that reappears in here because that movement is in F minor. So you see this correlation that linked really these movements together. It's obvious now for Beethoven that a sonata is an entire piece separated by moments that you will call movements. And sometimes there are going to be many, like in the third movement. That's for next week. So we have that section that's humorous, piano, and then forte, right away, complete contrast, and then it's repeated. And comes here a very complex section. We have offbeats everywhere. We're actually not even sure anymore where the beats are. With these very specific two-note slurs I've been talking for so many times throughout all the sonatas. So that seems pretty square. But then at the left end, we have offbeats with accents on it. And on these offbeats, the inner lines kind of follow. But you see there's one moment, there's no inner line in here. And when you put them together, and with an accent in the rival, which is exactly what we're not supposed to do in music. So the whole thing is a complete joke, which is the concept of a scherzo. Scherzo means a joke, but it's an intellectual joke. We need to have some knowledge to understand the joke here. If I wasn't enough, he adds. So what is this? Ich bin liederlich, du bist liederlich. Is another song, which means I'm a draggle-tail, you're a draggle-tail. But it's interesting, he's using a theme that uses kind of a not so pretty words in it. And then Beethoven. Ritardando, two-note slur, separated on the ritardando, and then fortissimo, two measures of rest, staccato, and then we have two choices, either we repeat or we move on to the trio. This trio is in D flat major, we in F minor. F minor, the relative major would be A flat. So it goes to actually the 6th degree of F minor. It's not supposed to be like that, but that's a joke again. Each trio should have two sections that are repeated each. He's not going to do this. What he's going to do is kind of repeating but go somewhere else. So here's the first section. I'm going to go slow that you can hear it. And here's these contrasts that are enormous. fortissimo with the pedal, accent, fortissimo, piano. So we think this is a repeat, which it should be, but it's not. And he modulates to G flat major. Same element, so fortissimo, and now suddenly piano. What was in D flat, but in G flat. Okay, why not? And then we think, oh, then they're probably going to be in the same modulation to go somewhere else. But no. So here we arrive in E flat minor with the same fortissimo accent. And now we're back to the beginning, which is odd. And here, no accents, no forte, but pedal. And it ends like that. Then go back to the beginning as we're supposed to do in a scherzo form. Except in a scherzo form, when we go back to the beginning, there are no repeats. And here, he writes the repeat. Here he wants you to do ritardando the second time. And then we have the second section with all the offbeats as we had. He's gonna end in a coda, very unusual. Beethoven rarely writes coda. Listen how that coda ends. Writes pedal for 4 measures. We don't feel this is an ending because the Picardy is third here. On a poco ritardando becomes the dominant of the next key, which is the third movement with the F. Well, and now we're back in B flat minor, which in A flat major would be the second degree. So really, harmonically speaking, Beethoven does whatever he wants. Now let's listen to this second movement without interruption, and please keep smiling. This is fun. I hope you enjoyed this second movement and all the humor. You kept smiling. Do not forget to subscribe. This is a little button here, just click on it. And of course, become a member to be part of the masterclass or listen to the entire sonata without interruption, or to my recitals live. It's not too late for the masterclass that I will be teaching for my members tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York Times. Please join. Don't forget that you cannot join if you are on an iPhone or an iPad, but you can join if you're on an Android or any laptops. You can also follow me on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. All the links are in the description below, or on my website at laurentboukobza.net. I wish you all a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next week for the third movement of this sonata. Thank you very much. Bye bye now.